Welcome to the Whiska Chicks podcast, where Amy and Suzie are two sisters that banter about random, relatable topics. What is a Whiska Chick? Well, it's a term our beloved Nana used for anything random, so instead of saying thingamajig or doodad, she would say Whiska Chick. We are here to have fun, a lot of laughs, and to spread joy and mindfulness. Give a listen. You may learn something or have an aha moment or two. We dedicate this creative endeavor to our Nana, whose most powerful saying was, be true to yourself. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Whiska Chicks podcast. I'm Suzie.
And I'm Amy.
And if I was successful, you would have heard our new intro right before we started talking. Yay!
It's much better.
I'm excited about it.
It's not so dreary.
Yeah, it's
sappy.
Catchier. It's catchier.
Not so sappy.
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 We're sappy. So I just want to say, first of all, we have added yet another country onto our listening list. We would love to welcome Ireland.
Ireland. Yay.
Ireland. Yay. So whoever's been listening in Ireland, don't get creeped out. We just like to acknowledge, like, we're glad that you jumped on the Whiska Chicks train, because we're internationally just woo right now. We're just on
maybe
fire.
Only one or two people in each country, but hey, we're international.
Who cares? It only takes that little pebble to throw in, and then the world's going to go Whiska Chicks.
We love that ripple in the water effect here at the Whiska Chicks podcast.
We really do. We really, really do. So Amy and I, we're getting more and more inspired as we get into this, even though this podcast has been in existence for a while, a couple of years, or more. But I don't know, I feel like I was like concerned we were going to be like, God, what are we going to talk about? And then like we bring something up, we're like, oh my God. And so, so we thought it would be fun, because today is April 1st, 2026, to do, I don't know, we just calling it like a Zodiac series, like Zodiac series. So every month we're going to do a podcast episode about the relevant astrological or zodiac sign of that month. And so ironically, we came up with this the other day, as the zodiac wheel resets to the first zodiac sign, which is Aries, in April. So we thought it would be fun today to talk about everything Aries.
So the plan is, don't get all freaked out that every podcast is going to be about zodiac signs. We're in between the zodiac wheel turning. We're going to talk about other stuff. It's just every time the zodiac sign changes, we'll talk about that particular sign. So there'll be other stuff in between, right?
The Virgo clarifies.
Well, yeah, that's how we balance each other.
Oh, yeah.
You're Aries the squirrel, and I'm...
Or Aries the squirrel, that's right. Aries the squirrel, or I think it's Squirrel and Dory. If a Squirrel and Dory from Finding Nemo had a baby, that's probably an Aries.
That's perfect.
So, but yes, to Amy's point, like in April, we'll do Aries, Taurus will be in May, and Gemini, June. That's not it. Like, but yes, we're just like Aries. So we'll have
I just don't want people to go like, oh man, all they're going to talk about is Zodiac now and bail on us. So
turn them off. I want to hear that.
There'll be other stuff.
Yeah. Anywho's, so for those of you that do or do not know me, I'm an Aries. So this hits close to home for me today. And anyway, we're just going to talk a little bit about Aries stuff. So why don't you kick it off, Amy? Because I think you've got you're more intellectual than I am, so you should start.
I don't know if I should say thank you or not.
You're the oldest. Start.
Yeah. Jeez. And I have one Aries placement in my chart, and it happens to be a very important one. I'm going to bring it up just because the podcast mantra is be true to yourself. But, and we've had other podcasts on the North Node, that being the North and South nodes being karmic and dharmic placements in the chart. But my North Node is in Aries. I am supposed to move toward more Aries characteristics in my lifetime. So, but the Aries North Node mantra is speak your truth, be true to yourself. So that I just wanted to bring that up, but since that's our slogan, right? So when I first found that out, I was like, whoa, crazy. The mantra part. Anyway, I digress. So moving forward, first of all, the sun signs, all of them, and we've said this before, you are way more than your sun sign, but your sun sign has a lot to do with, kind of how your characteristics and how you present yourself to the world. So Aries, okay. There's a little animal or something associated with every sign. The Aries is the ram. That's your animal, if you will. It's a masculine sign, and all the different zodiac signs are associated with an element. So Aries is a fire sign, and because they are the first zodiac sign in the cycle, they're considered the babies, if you will, of the zodiac. The Pisces comes at the very end of the cycle, so they're kind of like the old souls. So Aries, and as we talk more about Aries personality, that kind of being the babies of the zodiac, they that kind of carries over into that. They start off the whole thing. So anyway, but I'm sure Susie will be interjecting at that, at some point.
Why? Because I'm an Aries?
Yeah. Yeah. And what that feels, because, anyway, I digress. But so the sun sign, it symbolizes the ego and how it expresses itself. So whatever the description is of the Aries, that's kind of more your ego and outward expression. And it also represents kind of how you choose to accomplish goals in your lifetime. It kind of describes how you go about doing that. Okay. So in this, so the signs are grouped by element, and they're also grouped by something called the triplicities, which are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And Aries happens to be a cardinal sign, and that kind of describes what types of activities you participate in life, and your ability to adapt to different circumstances and that sort of thing. So Aries is fire and cardinal and represented by the ram. So that being said, Aries being a fire sign is really they're good at launching new projects and ideas. But because they're a cardinal sign, they're outgoing, social, they initiate new ideas and projects, but their challenges, they often lack the endurance to see new projects to the end. So, Susie, how do you relate to that?
Squirrel and Dory.
So yeah, being an Aries, Aries are they're visionary, right? They're like, oh, and their brains are all over the place. Like I can do this, I can do that.
We're visionaries,
right? So visionaries, but not necessarily executors, right? You come up with the idea, but then more anal signs like the Virgo are strategizers and executors.
You didn't get my joke, did you?
What?
When I said, you said they're visionaries, and I went, Vision Aries.
Oh
my God.
I sorry.
Why was that so hard?
I didn't catch it. Sorry.
That's okay. No, it is true. Anybody you meet that is an Aries will tell you that they are habitual about not seeing things through. But I think that comes more from, like, we really like engaging things, like, that keep our attention or our curiosity or our intrigue. So if something is boring or mundane, we're like, peace out. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Which explains a lot about my school career. But anyway.
Well, Mars, all the zodiac signs are ruled by a planet, and Aries is ruled by Mars. And so that is a leadership kind of pioneering type spirit. So the Aries is definitely bold, courageous. They're survivors. But the challenge is persistence. They lose interest if they don't see rapid results. That rings true for you, right?
Every second of every hour of every day.
I want it now.
Of my life.
Now. So for those of you, you may not be an Aries, but you may have someone in your life that you're close to that's an Aries. So hopefully kind of what we're talking about here today will help you understand kind of where they're coming from, being that
Or you might
have
have like you said, like you might have Aries placements, and so maybe something resonates with you there.
Exactly.
But that's more complicated into the tarot. But when I think of Aries, it's associated with the color red. It's ruled by the head, and it's so funny, like because it's the ram. And all the Aries people that I engage with them, I'm always like, do you hit your head all the time? They're like, oh my God. Like, and it's the most, I'll hit my head and be like, how did I do that? How did that just even happen? And, but also it's associated obviously with the number 4 being, I know that Aries also runs like, March, 21st or 2nd, and then into April. But, the number 4 obviously can be associated with Aries. And also for those of you that read tarot cards, or tarot, however you like to say that, the number 4 in the major arcana is the Emperor, and that is the card for Aries. And I think there's even actually a little ram somewhere, ram head, you'll find on your card. So
he's wearing red. He's wearing a red cloak.
He's wearing red. Yeah, but Aries, and contrary to popular belief, Aries, it has nothing to do with, like, I think Aries was a god of war or something in mythology. It has nothing to do with that. I actually fact checked that because I was going to talk about it, and I found that it thank you. Unlike our current government, I fact checked. And sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Fact check when it's important.
Fact check, bitches. And anyway, God, don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
But the Emperor, Aries has a lot to do. First sign of the Zodiac. They make fantastic, like, leaders, initiators, or instigators, depending on. We like a good sparring match. We like to get people thinking. And Amy, you know this because I say crap to you all the time, and I'm like, I'm just getting you, just poking at you, getting you thinking. But to us, that's fun. And but I think, I don't know. I think Aries is a fun sign. But on the flip side of that, I happened to look up, just because I knew we were doing this, obviously, some did you knows about Aries.
Oh, cool.
I won't read all of them. I'll just pick out the fun ones. Addicted to success, lives independently, ice cold under stressful situations, super smart, they learn anything easily. I might debate that a little bit. Yeah, this is one of my favorite. Elite level instigator and bullshit radar. Oh my God.
Okay, I can vouch for that with you.
Right?
You have serious bullshit radar.
Has a very soft heart for acts of kindness. Has a generous heart, fierce mind, and a brave spirit. There's another good one. Will put rude and disrespectful people in their place. Allergic to excuses, laziness, and negativity with a passion. I won't read that one because I'm blushing when I read it. Extremely easy to get along with and easy to talk to. I don't agree with this. Hard to read their mind. I feel like actually we wear our hearts on our sleeves, but anyway, but we can read minds well. And this is also true. We are honest and trustworthy. We keep it real 100%. Great sense of humor, playful personality. And here's another really true one. The nicest person or your worst nightmare.
Well, I think a lot of that goes back to being the babies, quote unquote, of the Zodiac, right? I think you're, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but your mind doesn't complicate things. You're just very, Aries are very straightforward, and and I can speak specifically about you because you're just like it's either shit or get off the pot. It just, you don't like overcomplicate things. I do. I overthink and think and think and think and think, but that's Virgo. That's a whole other podcast
That's
in
August.
August. So,
You'll have
but
your chance in August.
but think about it. I mean, they're the first sign of the zodiac, so they're coming in with like, let's just lay it on the table. Don't overthink it. It is what it is, kind of a thing. So the Aries ability to not overcomplicate things, I think, is beautiful, because we need that balance. We need people in this world to balance all that out. We need the thinkers, and then we need the ones that are just like, dude, just do it, kind of a thing. So but yeah, I think that's all super accurate.
Well, it's funny, like when you bring up the baby thing with the baby of the Zodiac or whatever. I just, in my mind, here's my Aries mind. In my mind, I just see a baby. If you can get past the drooling and whatever else comes out of a baby, but babies are, or even just let's just say 3 and under, the honesty, right? They show you everything. Like, you'll know exactly where you stand with them. They don't hide their emotions or their feelings. Like, you just, like, they're pure. Like, I'm not saying I'm pure, but what's coming out of them is unfiltered.
Right.
And
exactly.
And I'm always, I will forewarn people on some days where I'm really just like, people be like, God, Suzie, because when I'm quiet, people are like, oh my God, what's wrong with Suzie? Like, if I'm quiet, and sometimes these days I'm just like, my filter is, I'm waiting for parts for my filter, so I'm not saying anything right now, because like, it's just going to get me into a peck of trouble.
Right, because Aries can be super argumentative, and they can lack tact. Have
Agreed,
bad, their tempers. But the anger doesn't last long, to the point kind of you made earlier. It's like, if you catch an Aries at the wrong time when they need to go inside and be quiet, yeah, you might get your hand slapped if you poke too hard.
Don't poke the Aries. You might get it. No, it's true. And then also, what other fun thing did I have? Let me see. Nobody understands Aries' passion for people and truth, and I really resonate with that, because I've said my whole life, I don't feel like anybody understands me.
Yeah,
just like where I'm coming from, how I'm trying to say it. It's to the point where I feel like, am I like holding this microphone? Like, is this thing on? This is also true, and you will agree. If you don't agree with this, we're not related. Aries don't need a big production to have fun. They can have fun anywhere. Aries like tease.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Wait. Oh, this is also true. Aries would just prefer to do it themselves. We are innocent, thus many times their aggression gets hidden behind it. I think that's sort of true. And actually, Aries are one of the few signs that are not very materialistic. They care more about loyalty and family. I also think that's true.
So I agree. So from a money perspective, you just said materialistic. Supposedly Aries aren't that great with it. And they're not good savers. Do you agree with that?
I'm just going to sum
You don't
it up
have to answer that.
I'm just going to sum it up by going, yup. That's because I like to have fun. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a risk taker. I love, like, my whole life has been spent just like going where there's experiences and adventure, and you went all the way in school and for what you do for your craft, and like, I graduated high school and went to 2 different community colleges, and this decided, like, being at a desk was like being a caged animal. I could not focus. I didn't know what I wanted to. I just wanted to be out in the world, and that requires funding. But the word fun is in funding. So um so I've done some cool shit in my life, and I wouldn't change a thing. But could I be more responsible with money? Yes. And I really feel like I am getting better at that as I'm getting, because now I'm almost 54. So it's like, whoops, you
Well,
want to
but
retire, right?
but we need the Aries, right? Because like I said, it all comes down to balance. All of the signs bring something to the table that the others don't, right? Because like at work, Aries tend to be great leaders. They're really good at delegation. They're full of ideas and what they and they do, and they want to do what they want to do without restriction. So, you know, you've got, not everybody's good at that. Not everybody is good at delegating and coming up with the ideas. So other people are better at, they want to receive some delegation and then let them go execute. So the Aries is a bit more of a quarterback, where they're good at like directing and seeing, and but then the follow through is kind of like, well, let's leave it to somebody who's not. I'm not saying that Aries aren't good follow. They don't have follow through or anything like that, but it's not in their natural wheelhouse. It's something they have to develop. But we need the Aries. We need those fire signs. Because there's more fire signs than just Aries. But the fire signs tend to be excellent leaders, for that reason. And then you surround yourself with people who support that. So anyway, we definitely need the Aries for sure.
I mean, if I sometimes when I think of the different zodiac signs and the animals that are, or whatever is associated with it, um, like I have so many Capricorns in my life, and I know Rams can do this too, but the Capricorn, I know that it's a sea goat, but still a goat. But like just these animals with that can just like scale, you know, jagged rocks and cliffs without you know skipping a beat. Like they can traverse difficult, tricky situations and keep their footing, and also being fire. I always joke with people when I find out like when or I think of like what their element is, because being a fire sign, and I know, what is it, Leo and Sagittarius was the other two,
Yeah.
um which I obviously get along really well with all fire signs, but when I think of like the fire element itself and then the other three elements that exist, I feel like fire has the biggest challenge with keeping its integrity and form, because you can burn the earth, right? But the earth will still endure and be there and regenerate. Water just puts your shit out and you're smoldering, and air can blow on you and piss you off, like like ignite you up. I mean, fire can be cleansing and burning, or sorry, clearing, and stuff like that, and highly destructive, obviously. But I really feel like out of all four signs, I don't feel like it. If it was I don't want to say like a battle with the other elements, but I do feel like fire has the biggest challenges in like maintaining its fire. I don't know if I'm not saying that well at all, but
No, that
um,
that makes total sense. I mean, because
you
from a
know,
compatibility, when you're looking at astrology, now granted, I've said this 50 million times, you're way more than your sun sign, but generally speaking, from a compatibility perspective, we go to the elements to check that, and you just talked about that. Fire signs are often attracted to other fire signs, but it can be explosive, right? Like you were saying, but they, typically fire signs do better with air signs, because just like earth does well with water, because water needs earth and earth needs water, and fire does need air to burn. It needs oxygen.
right,
So, so from a compatibility perspective, anybody who's kind of wondering, the typically air signs are good for the fire signs, and the air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So, but yeah, it's, you put two fire signs together and it can be pretty.
It's a good time. I actually for a very not so long period of time in my mid-20s, I had a relationship with another Aries, and like a
Ooh.
romantic relationship, and it was so much fun. I mean, it was like everything you'd want from like the, yeah, give me the sparring, give me this and that, like all this passion and fire and fun. And then it was just like, oh man, this isn't going to work out. I mean, it was a mutual end, but it was just sort of like, ah, party's over. And I don't know if that's the whole, like, you know, not seeing it through or whatever, but I think it's sometimes in that instance, I'm not saying an Aries relationship would not work. That's not what I'm saying. Because as we've said a million times already in this episode, you are way more than your sun sign. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I haven't done that since. And alternatively, my longest relationship was with an Aquarian sun sign, and
Air.
yeah, we were like a well-oiled machine, but yeah, it didn't work out. So I don't know. I'm single as a Pringle, as Sophia, my niece, your daughter would say. I'm single as a Pringle now, but 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 I'm okay with it for now.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we wrap this up, I thought it would be a fun little bookend to this episode. I made a list of some famous Aries people.
Oh, cool.
So as I read these off, and there's a few, more than a few 15 or so people. I try to like pick from different places that people be like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, that makes sense. Me, whatever people are thinking. I don't know. I don't know what the hell people think when they listen to us. Anyway, Lady Gaga,
Okay.
Leonardo da Vinci, Reese Witherspoon, Eddie Murphy, Emma Watson. For those of you who don't know who she is, she was Hermione in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Keira Knightley, another great British actress. Sarah Jessica Parker. Celine Dion.
Really?
Everybody loves her at Christmas. Mariah Carey. Aretha Franklin.
Oh.
Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah. I knew
Maya
about him.
Angelou.
Oh.
Harry Houdini.
Oh.
And then my last two are my favorites because I saved them for last. One is, I'm not going to even say her last name because I will screw it up, but it's the first A in ABBA. Her name is Agneta. She's the beautiful blonde from ABBA. She's actually April 5th, so her birthday's in a few days. And then bringing up the bottom, I thought this was funny that Ireland joined the fold because my favorite actress, or one of my favorite actresses, she's at the top of my list right now, Saoirse Ronan. She is April 12th, the day after me.
Oh.
So if the Irish listeners out there know Saoirse, we'd love to have her on the podcast. Or I'd love to have coffee with her. I think we would have a fun conversation. But anyway, there was a lot more than...
I just wanted to quickly point out, some of those names you read off, true visionaries, true pioneers, like look at Maya Angelou, and it's
look at Mariah Carey.
And Mariah Carey. So Mariah Carey. So there's a few names on that list, famous, incredible careers, but they're a bit of a hot mess. Eddie Murphy, love him. He's a squirrel. So it's just interesting to listen to those names and, knowing personalities and, cause some people, and I don't care what sign you are, you can evolve with your traits and your sign and kind of exalt them, or you can not, and you kind of can go the other direction. And so, I'm not saying that anybody on that list has, but if you just think about all those names and everything we discussed, talked about today with regards to Aries and just kind of the different personalities and what they've done, and the minds and the creativity, like Vincent van Gogh, and so it's interesting. I'm glad you did that.
I wish. I don't know if you've ever seen Lady Gaga in an interview. She's a freaking squirrel on squirrel. Oh my god! But she's brilliant. But if I could make it happen, I know it's impossible, but I would love to see Lady Gaga and Vincent van Gogh just have a cup of coffee together. I think that would be like an hilarious conversation.
And Maya Angelou can mediate.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
for
funny.
reals. But anyway, I will before we're going to wrap up here so we don't, you guys aren't off. I will say that everybody that I know that has an Aries that they love in their life will tell you, do not let them go. Keep them, because they're quite special and fun and good to have around in crisis and friendship whenever you need them. Defending our loved ones to the death, speaking their minds. And it's funny because I feel like I've always been a balance of, I always feel like I'm either someone's muse or like they want to take me to a gathering because like I'm a buffer.
You're the entertainment.
Because I could have fun at an insurance seminar. That's
you
why.
could, and you could make friends with a doorknob. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. How'd you know? I just did that earlier.
Did you get
kidding.
the number?
Just JK.
JK.
Get your number, girl.
All right.
Anyway, so that was fun.
Yeah.
So we'll do some more fun stuff in between now and May. But if you know an Aries, if they were born anytime after March 21st, they've already had their birthday, so you're too late. But you have until April 20th, I think, through the 20th to get your April
the 19th.
Aries.
The 19th.
Is it the 19th? Okay.
Yeah, so March 21 to April 19th is Aries.
Okay. But yeah, if you have an Aries in your life, cherish them because they're quite special.
I can vouch for that.
Oh, jeez. Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I just don't even know what to do with that. Do you have homework for anybody today?
No, other than if you do have an Aries in your life, just kind of take what we said and I don't know, maybe do something with it. That's my homework. How about that?
That sounds fantastic. All right. Well,
simple and stupid.
Simple and stupid. It's not stupid. Simple's awesome. All right, everybody. Well, we just wanted to thank you for being with us today and always. Those of you that are joining us, I don't know how you're finding us, but keep doing it.
Exactly. And spread the word.
Yeah, spread the word. We're on Instagram. Give us a follow and a like. We're going to start putting up more content and whatnot. But anyway, yabba dabba do. More on that later. Yes, thank you for being here today. And we know what old Nana would say.
Be true to yourself.